So Terry, what else is working for you guys today? You got online ordering, correct
Mhm.
pricing, a little bit more family FEC focused. What else is working for you guys today?
So I'll go back first of all. One of the biggest impacts to the center, I talked about it before. We went from we had Brunswick framework scoring, which that product is built like a tank. There's other manufacturers from that same late 90s, early 2000s period that have that have scoring. Again, not going to lie, use what you got, use it to your best advantage because those things are going to last forever. And there was so much of it made that you should be able to find parts to keep it in operation. So for centers that are kind of doing that, hey, I understand. Do what you guys got to do. Operate how you guys want to operate. But or as the cool kids today say, no cap. If you don't know what that is, it means I'm not lying. You got to
Yeah,
learn it. All those millennials that are coming to work for you are
that's
going to
right.
say it to you. You got to learn it. But yeah, no lie. One of the biggest things we did is, like I said, 2014, during that whole transition, 2015, I was looking at some peers in the industry. They all had specific scoring system out there. And honestly, to me, when I really started dissecting it in my head and thinking about it, it was the decision of we needed new scoring. Our, again, stuff's built like a tank, but it still dies. Got tired of shopping for motherboards. And it was like, okay, do we keep something similar with just generic scoring? And at that point in my head, I was like, if we're going with generic scoring, we're just going to go with the least option because it doesn't make sense to invest in scoring for scoring's sake.
Right.
I was like, or we can look into scoring that is going to entertain our guests. And ultimately at the time where Sync was at the time, it was kind of lagging behind Cubica, especially for traditional bowling centers. And so I said, you know what, this Utune stuff they have where you build cartoons looks like the right idea. I think that's what's going to entertain our guests.
Yeah.
And at the time they had some marketing that said, hey, increase revenue by 30%. And I was like, that's an incredibly steep number.
Yeah.
And
It's a big claim.
I thought it was some horse hockey that they were selling, but we bit the bullet. Again, we came out some really tough financial times. My dad didn't think we'd be able to get financing for it, but he said, hey, if you think we can do it, we'll do it. And we go out to Richmond and we look at the products. We get it tested. I already knew what I wanted. I already knew what I was buying.
Yeah.
My dad, he was out there for the dog and pony show, seeing how it all worked. And
It's a nice plant.
yeah, he's like, this is great, but yeah, ain't no way we get the money. And at the end of the day, we got the financing. The financing came through. We financed the system, got it set up for install, all that kind of good stuff. The installation process is part of what sold me to be interested to put some time in with Cubica as a trainer. We bought multiple Brunswick systems. We think we converted 2 or 3 of our centers to Vector at the time that after we bought them.
Yeah.
And but the training process there was basically the guy installed, like 1 or 2 days. Here's how you build price keys. Here's your reporting. Here's how you do this. See you later. And we bought the whole Best X Ultimate experience. We got 10 days of training and having that physical, like I bugged the heck out of my sales rep. I was like, I need training material. Is it online? I need to have it. At the time, they didn't have it online. And, but I'm a staunch self-learner. I want to learn how things work. Right. I want to understand it before I have it. I can just start running. And I didn't understand what their training process was. And again, we had 5 days straight. It's a lot. And when I go in the field, even 2 or 3 days of training is a lot of information to share. But it was fantastic. Like I said, it was fantastic. During the installation process, I remember we got our first pair of lanes done, and they were working on the next couple pairs. And I was talking to the installer. I was like, I have to have some of these animations up. I didn't know then what I know now, which sending the animations out can be a multiple hour process, the software, but I was like, I got to have it. I was like, we got this stuff. It's beautiful. My dad's focusing on all the negative. I was like, we got to show him a positive or he's going to lose his mind and start hollering at people. And I'm going to have to return this stuff.
Right.
Just because he's mad about something over here that ultimately is going to be a hiccup. It's going to be dealt with. It's going to be taken care of. So he's like, okay, sent everything out. And we had this mom and her little girl come in. And I sat there. I was like, okay. I was like, hey, do me a favor. I was like, do you want a bowl for free? And mom's, yes, I want a bowl for free. I was like, do me a favor. We'll let you bowl down there on one. Pardon our construction. There's a lot of stuff going on. I was like, but the lane area is clear. That whole area, we made sure to clean it up. So you guys can go down there. I was like, it's going to ask you to take 3 pictures, happy, sad, and like a side view. I was like, if you do that, it'll make cartoons of you guys while you bowl. You'll have a great time. And she's like, okay, free bowling. I don't care. You want me to do that? Sure. So mom goes down there. Now I'm watching, my dad's watching, our counter guy's watching, the installer's watching, the trainers watching, everybody going to see what happens. And yeah, so she goes down there, she takes the pictures, daughter goes up, bowls the first shot, shows how to pick up the shot in the animation. And then she takes the second shot and the cartoon starts, the U-tune starts.
Yeah.
And mom has her phone screaming out of her back pocket and like she's just snapping pictures like crazy. And my dad sat down and he sat there, he saw that. He goes, I don't know how that's getting on the internet. I mean, again, he's 80, he's going to be 81 this year.
Okay.
So he was at probably like late 70s at the time. He's like, I don't know how that's getting on the internet, but I know that's getting on the internet. And they know that they were at Holiday Lanes.
Right.
He goes, I think we made the right purchase.
Yeah.
And again, I that really is, it's been our biggest impact since we installed Best X and U-Tunes. Having that extra entertainment factor
right
really does keep people coming back. It keeps people telling the story. Now, again, you don't get there by not training your staff to talk about it. You don't get there by ensuring that your staff is taking care of the customers, making sure they're happy. I think the phrase I've been using recently, even outside like customer service, is more of a mentality of ensuring our customers' success. They came here to have a good time. They don't know what they're buying. They don't know bowling. They don't know anything like that. So our staff has to make sure that when they get to the lane, they know what they're going to do, what they can do to have the best time possible, to have the most fun.
Yeah.
And that's really where we've been pushing kind of recently, is that mentality of let's make sure our guests have a good time while they're here. Not just welcome them in, make them feel welcome. Here's your stuff. Here's your lane. Bye. But hey, if you guys give this a try, you're really going to have a good time.
Right.
And it's been a, like I said, long-term culture change to kind of get where we're at.
Yeah.
But like I said, physical wise, again, I think that's really Best X and the entertainment, taking that mentality of we're selling bowling to really pushing we're selling entertainment.
Right.
Has been the biggest transition, the biggest change. And again, you can do that with traditional centers. You can do that with traditional scoring. It's not just, again, that's just my personal experience.
Yeah.
But really that mentality of, oh, we're a bowling center. We're a league center. That's all we do. We do leagues, we do tournaments. And we wonder why our league base has been dropping by 6% a year. We answer for it. There's no more awards. We haven't had our lane sanctioned the past 3 years. And now there's going to be no way for you not to get sanctioned. I mean, all the stuff that's coming down on the competitive side of bowling, that's just bizarre, kind of weird. It's a new world we're going into. But again, there's still ways that you can really take what you're doing and say, how can we make this fun? How can we inject some fun into this? How can we make sure our guests have a good time rather than just saying, no, it's just bowling. That's all we're doing.
Right. Yeah. You're like you said, you're selling fun, you're selling entertainment. Bowling just happens to be a vehicle for that. I always look at, we work with a lot of different centers. So I look at everyone kind of just on a spectrum or a continuum. On one side, you have your pure league house. On the other side, you might have a pure FEC, and everybody's somewhere on that continuum, and they're either moving from one side or the other. It's kind of just a broad spectrum.
Yeah. That's bring in the FEC area. That's one thing that happens with almost every FEC is they make that ton of money. They make that big chunk of money in the first year, 2 years. And then they start becoming kind of established in the community, and some of that sparkle and magic wears off. And some of the FECs that have stayed the most successful have kind of sat down and said, hey, after year three, we need to have some competitive part of this. We need to have some sort of kind of a league, something in leagues to really help us still stay relevant in people's minds.
Right.
And then it becomes, again, goes back to being a hybrid of the sport, just like old time league places, old time league centers. You put in a couple of fun leagues whether it's a shirt, a rum bucket, or some other kind of fun that you add to it, that they can take their standard product, have it start becoming something else. and they just start, again, gradually transitioning towards more of an entertainment as well. And traditional centers really got, again, this is my personal opinion, really focus on making that mix happen. I mean, I can tell you that my entertainment bowling is 75% of my revenue, but that doesn't mean I'm not focusing and making sure that we put out the best shot possible, that we're consistent with what we deliver to our league bowlers, that we're always trying to develop new league bowlers from learn to bowl programs or youth programs, or like homeschool programs have been fantastic for us, helping to develop and get into more of a youth presence at our center.
Right.
And again, it's just you got to find that mix that you have, like I said, just in my mind, to survive today, you have to have it. And I don't know how any other way I could put it is that.
Yeah, it takes both. Many things. It's a balancing act. It takes both.
Yeah.
Hey, did you like this video? Great. We make 10 of them a week. Subscribe to learn more and keep learning about what's working in the industry. Talk to you then.